In this series, we've constructed Ash's ultimate team if he was a champion specialising in one specific type of Pokemon, using Pokemon he's caught or bonded with in the past. To check out the previous episodes, click the playlist in the video description. And now, in this final video, we'll investigate what if Ash was an electric type champion. Somehow we've made it to the final episode of the series. We've explored water, flying, fire, grass, fighting, ice, bug, dark, normal, dragon, ghost, rock, steel, psychic, poison, ground and fairy over the last half a year. This series was incredibly fun to create, so I cannot wait to show you all this final episode. Be sure to let me know the team that you'd give Ash in the comments below, and also be sure to smash the thumbs up button and the subscribe button too if you've enjoyed this series. So, without further ado, let's hop straight into it. The first member of Ash's ultimate electric type team is the one and only Pikachu. Pikachu is Ash's strongest Pokemon of all time. You can argue for Charizard or Greninja, sure, but I think nothing in the entire anime is stronger than the bond between Ash and Pikachu. And that bond is the thing that fuels Pikachu. This absolute unstoppable power has been showcased in absolutely monumental ways. Pikachu defeated Regice, it drew against Latios, it defeated Tapu Koko, and not to mention all of its other unbelievable battle feats, in gym battles and against Ash's rivals. This absolute power is so insane that Pikachu alone could carry most teams. And not only is he a complete powerhouse, but Pikachu's speed is unbelievable, which makes him an absolute nightmare to battle against for any opponent. Pikachu is the only electric type Pokemon Ash has ever caught, and I can totally understand why. Any other electric type Ash could ever own would pale in comparison to the strength of the Pika. So, Pikachu leading this team makes the most sense out of any Pokemon I've ever placed on any team. Pikachu's Thunderbolt has the power to take down legendaries, his quick attack is even speedier than my keyboard typing, his Iron Tail can make him a devastating close quarters fighter, and his Electro Web can be used both offensively and defensively. And that brings us onto his biggest and most powerful move of all, his own exclusive unique Z move, 10 million volt Thunderbolt. I don't even need to tell you all how unstoppable this move is. It can take down electric type legendaries like Tapu Koko, and it can take down Pokemon with the Motor Drive ability like Volkner's Electivire. I genuinely believe this move could make any opponent shudder, so of course it's going to be used in this team. I mean, after all, it is the ultimate electric type move. So, for all of these reasons, Pikachu is an absolute no-brainer on this team. And we all know that for sure. So, overall, if Ash was an electric type champion, I believe his ultimate team would be Pikachu. I mean, you didn't expect anything else, right? Ashy Boy has never caught another electric type Pokemon, and I don't think he's going to start now. Let me know what you thought about Ash's ultimate electric type. The second member of Ash's ultimate electric type team will be Ash's Alolan Golem. In the Sun and Moon series, Ash found an Alolan Geodude and was super excited to catch it, but Geodude punched the Pokeball in his face and then ran away. I would love for Ash to catch an Alolan Geodude and evolve it up into an Alolan Golem, not only because he clearly wants to catch one, but also because it would represent Kanto, his home region. It always helps to have a tank on the team, so Alolan Golem could fulfill that role perfectly. But Alolan Golem has also been shown to be pretty fast and mobile in the anime too, so it's not like Ash is going to have to struggle with a slow moving tank. In the anime, Alolan Golem is tanky and speedy. I just think that Alolan Golem fits Ash for all of those reasons. The third member of Ash's ultimate electric type team will be Ash's Rotom. Ash has unofficially owned two Rotom, his Rotom Dex and his Rotom Phone. And I think he should choose one of them and train them to be a member of this electric type team. Because this is an electric type team, and because all of Rotom's different forms are part electric type, Rotom has so much potential in this team. Ashy Boy can quite literally just switch between Rotom's different forms, depending on the type of the opponent he's up against. He could always have the type advantage, as long as he brings some household furniture to his battles. But hey, I reckon Ash could carry a washing machine around no problem. The team's only major weakness are ground-type Pokemon, but Rotom would do awesome against them. For example, if they're against a ground-type Pokemon, Rotom could become a Mo Rotom, a Frost Rotom, or a Wash Rotom, and he'd do an excellent job at defeating them, because he'd have a major type advantage. Plus, Rotom's ability is Levitate, which means no ground-type moves can affect it, giving it even more of a massive advantage. Rotom are incredibly speedy in the anime, and they're legends at dodging moves, so those two elements work excellently with Ash's battle style. So I know a Rotom would really fit on this team. The fourth member of Ash's Ultimate Electric type team will be Ash's Vikavolt. Ash tried and failed to catch a Grubbin 2 times in the Sun and Moon series. Plus, the opening theme totally lied to us and showed Ash catching a Grubbin. Plus, Ash caught a Charger Bug to give to Sophocles. So this Pokemon is not up for debate. Vikavolt is absolutely being on this team. It's like the Pokemon that got away. Ash really should have caught one, especially because Bug-type Pokemon are my favourites ever. Vikavolt can fly around the sky, and they even have the Levitate ability, so just like Rotom, this Vikavolt would be an absolute counter against ground-type Pokemon. Also, we've seen the awesome speed of Vikavolt in the anime. I mean, in the Sun and Moon series, Vikavolt racing is literally a sport. Vikavolt feels like the kind of Pokemon Ash would train, and it has great battling utility in the team, so it makes perfect sense to me. The fifth member of Ash's Ultimate Electric type team will be Ash's Magnezone. In the original series, a man called Ethan had an army of Magnemite so they could absorb the lightning and travel around the Orange Islands and use it to provide power to the towns. One of Ethan's Magnemites, number 6, had a much bigger personality than the others, and it even looked and acted really different. It struggled to fit in and often caused Ethan problems. But Ash, being Ash, helped this Magnemite, saving it from being taken by Team Rocket, and then with Ash and Pikachu's help, it evolved into a Magneton. Ethan, the Magnemite herder, told Ash that he has immense natural skill and talent when it comes to dealing with Magnemite, because of how well Ash treated Magnemite number 6. So I would love for Ethan to give Ash that Magnemite, or, well, Magneton now. It makes so much sense, because Magnemite bonded with Ash, it was having issues with Ethan, and Ethan literally said that Ash has natural talent with raising Magnemite. He could evolve it into a Magnezone, who would be pretty tanky. Although Magnezone isn't a flying type Pokemon and it doesn't have the Levitate ability, I honestly don't think that ground type Pokemon would be an issue for Magnezone since it can still fly around effortlessly in the anime. So this is the third Pokemon of the team who can easily deal with ground type Pokemon. And now, before we move on to the 6th team member, I have something I've got to say real quick. Just to put it as blatantly as possible, this video is going to be the first video of the series to feature 7 Pokemon, rather than 6. That's because there's one Pokemon in particular, the 7th team member, who absolutely fits on this team beyond perfectly. But due to certain reasons, it may not always be able to be on this team. So, the first 6 Pokemon will be the main members of the team, and the 7th Pokemon will be a member that Ash uses sometimes, depending on the circumstance. Plus, it's the final team of the series, so let's go out with a bang, right? The 6th and not final member of Ash's Ultimate Electric type team will be Ash's Electivire. In Pikachu's Rescue Adventure, a short film from 1999, Ash, Misty and Tracy's Pokemon bonded with a wild Elekid. This was genuinely such a nice episode, with all of the Pokemon, including Elekid, working together to find Togepi and then uniting to protect some Execute eggs from a huge storm. They worked so well together and really were great friends. I love this episode so much, I think it is so underrated. I would have loved for Elekid to go back with the other Pokemon and be caught by Ash, since it had such a strong bond with his Pokemon. So I've always wanted Ash to reunite with this Elekid and evolve it up into an Electivire. The Pokemon Electivire has huge significance for Ash. Gary's Electivire was the Pokemon that started his Sinnoh journey, and Paul's Electivire was the Pokemon that concluded his Sinnoh journey. Electivire is so powerful, and Ash should know enough about that species by now to do an incredible job at training his own. He can even teach it Ice Punch to counter ground-type Pokemon, the team's only big weakness. I just think that Electivire is so significant to Ash, and he's already bonded with an Elekid before, so it makes great sense to have one on this team. And now, the final member of Ash's Ultimate Electric-type team, and the final Pokemon in this entire series, will be Tapu Koko. I'm sure having a 7th option makes a lot of sense to you guys now. Tapu Koko can't really leave Alola because of its role as the Island Guardian, but if Ash is ever battling in Alola, which is super likely since Alola is his second home, then Tapu Koko can take the place of one of his other team members. Ash and Tapu Koko had an incredible and majorly developing bond throughout the Sun and Moon series. As I'm sure you all know, Tapu Koko was the one who gave Ash a Z-Ring. Tapu Koko tested Ash's strength, worthiness, and resolve multiple times, and Tapu Koko battled Ash and Pikachu just as many times too. And of course, who could forget the Pikachu versus Tapu Koko showdown at the end of the Alola League? Apart from Pikachu, Tapu Koko has more strength and significance to Ash than any other member in this entire team, so it makes complete sense for Tapu Koko to be the bonus member on this team. Tapu Koko has unbelievable levels of speed and power, to the point that I don't think I even need to argue this anymore. Because I know if you've seen the Sun and Moon series, you already think that Tapu Koko on this team is an absolute no-brainer. Tapu Koko, the guardian of Melee Island, is more than worthy to be the bonus member on Ash's Electric-type champion team. So, overall, if Ash was an Electric-type champion, I believe his ultimate team would be Pikachu, Alolan Golem, Rotom, Vikavolt, Magnezone, Electivire, and Tapu Koko. Considering Ash only actually has one Electric-type Pokemon, I am super pleased with this team. It has so many speedsters, attackers, tanks, and importantly, flying Pokemon to negate the team's ground-type weakness. To me, this is the absolute perfect Electric-type team for Ash. And yes, before you comment below, if we could have an 8th member, it would definitely be Luxray. Luxray was super close to being on this team. I just think that having 4 flyers would be a much better option to counter the team's main weakness, ground-type Pokemon. I have a lot to say about this team and this series at the end of this video, so make sure you stick around. But first, for the final time, to test how strong this team is, I asked 2 of my friends, Gree and Albab, who play Pokemon competitively, to briefly evaluate the team in terms of game logic, to see if it's as viable in the games as it is in the anime. And this is what they said. Pikachu's offensive capabilities are great, but it's insanely frail. It could be defeated way too easily. Rotom should mostly be in its Wash form, because Rotom Wash is an excellent Pokemon. Its water typing and levitate ability make it the single most important member of the entire team. Also, Rotom having access to Will-O-Wisp, Thunder Wave, and Volt Switch all make it incredibly dangerous to face. Magnezone is really bulky and has an amazing typing, plus its ability, Analytic, takes advantage of its low speed, though its shallow move pool does hold it back. Alolan Golem is really bad because of its poor offenses and its slow speed, plus it has crippling, ground, grass and fighting weaknesses. Electivire is quite bad too, since it's slow and doesn't deal much damage, though its Ice Punch and Fire Punch can be helpful for type coverage. Vikavolt is extremely powerful and has great coverage moves with Energy Ball and Air Slash, alongside its incredibly perfect Levitate ability, though it does have low speed and low bulk in the games, which could hold it back. Tapu Koko is incredibly speedy, making it super tricky to counter, especially with moves like Volt Switch to back it up. Importantly, its electric terrain can be incredible for powering up the entire team. Overall, the team isn't the best in the series, since any fast ground type Pokemon could ruin the team once Rotom and Vikavolt go down, plus grass type Pokemon could be a little bit of an issue too. But it's not the end of the world, it definitely could be worse. So there, we have it. Although the game logic strength of this team is a little bit underwhelming, I think this is one of those crystal clear cases of the anime being completely different to the games. We all know how powerful Pikachu and Tapu Koko are. They alone could defeat most opponents. And the rest of the team are super powerful too. We have speedsters, tanks, attackers, everything. And most importantly, the only big real weakness the entire team has is ground type Pokemon. But Rotom, Vikavolt, Magnezone and Tapu Koko can easily counter those, because they can just fly in the sky. So by anime logic, the team has 0 big weaknesses, which is insane. Regardless of how strong the team is in the games, I know it is unstoppable in the anime. I am very confident about that. Let me know what Pokemon you think would be on Ash's ultimate electric type team in the comments below. And also, now that we've reached the conclusion of this series, let me know in the comments below what your thoughts were on the series in general. I have had so much fun working on this series. I've thoroughly enjoyed all the research going into the Pokemon that Ash could have caught that would fit the teams. I've loved giving the spotlight to some forgotten Pokemon. It has been fantastic working alongside my friends, Gree and Albab, and seeing what they think of the teams that I've constructed, and most importantly, seeing the absolute outpouring of love for this series has kept me so motivated and happy. So thank you all so much for the support on these videos. It means the absolute world to me. I'm definitely interested in continuing videos like this, but with other characters. For example, what if Go was a master of each type? I also really want to make videos like what if Ash was a coordinator, where we choose his ultimate team of Pokemon to be in contests, and also ones like what if Ash was a legendary champion, where we create an ultimate team of legendary Pokemon for Ash. I have so many more fun ideas to come, so I would really appreciate you guys sticking around and supporting the future videos, just like you've supported this series. So be sure to let me know in the comments below what future Ultimate Team videos you want to see me create. And now, somehow for the final time in this series, smash the thumbs up button and the subscribe button too if you enjoyed. It really helps me out beyond words can express. And I hope I've earned that subscription after 18 of these videos. Thank you to Gree and Albab for all of your help with this series. And to everyone watching this video right now, thank you all so much for watching. And as always, I'll catch you all in the next one.